So apparently I'm supposed to really pay attention to the lyrics of this one, and you guys know I'm not so good at that, so just bear with me. Alright guys, welcome to Lee Reacts. Hope everyone's having a good day. I know I'm not. My allergies are kicking my ass right now. I can barely breathe out of my nose, bro. I'm trying my best. I tried to record yesterday, and it just did not work, let's just say. Like, this is the best you're gonna get from me. My voice is already hoarse and shit. So, let's do this. This is a PayPal request from our supporter, Rob, I believe his name was on there. We're going to be listening to Sammy Hagar for the first time today. But I've definitely heard him in Van Halen and stuff like that. I think everyone's heard Van Halen stuff at this point in their lives. So I have heard him before, and he was in a band called Montrose, I believe, as well, which I've also listened to, I think, once or twice. I think I did a track by them like a year or two ago. So I'm familiar with him, but this song is called Crack in the Sky. It's from, I don't know exactly what year, to be honest, but it's one of his solo albums, and apparently the lyrics are very prophetic. That's what the request said. That was it, though, so I guess we're going to see. So let's go. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, check out our Patreon and PayPal. Help support the channel. It's much appreciated, my friends. Yeah, it really is. All right, here we go. Crack in the World by Sammy Hagar. Oh, in 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Bass is gnarly.
But just round the corner, there's a change in design. I wish I could walk away and dig what the preacher said, but those words don't satisfy me no more.
I hear that, bro.
There's a crack. There's a crack in the world. There's a crack. There's a crack in the world. There's a crack. There's a crack in the world.
That synth adds so much to that. That's really cool.
Just 50 more years, we're all gonna know why, when, where, how, and who gets to go. So let's all have a good time before the great divide.
I hear that, dude.
'Cause things will start separating come 2025. So
2025.
look for the subtle clues.
Oh, wow. No shit.
It
That's
won't
funny.
make the front page news. That depends on which side that you choose. There's a crack. There's a crack in the world. There's a crack. There's a crack in the world.
That's the best part of the song, for sure.
There's a crack. There's a crack in the world.
It's very singable. Bass is killer, dude. style. It's very unique actually. It's a combination. Kind of sounds like Montrose a little bit. Oh man, is it already over? It's been 5 minutes? That's crazy. That been like 3 minutes. Got some missing time going on. Yeah, that is a very prophetic song. I didn't want to talk too much about the lyrics during it because I wanted to just like let the music sort of do its thing, you know? But that, it's very strange how he like pinpointed it to an exact year. And being the year 2025, there was a lot of stuff that happened in that year and this year that have kind of, I don't know, shown the world for what it is in a way, you know? Like, it's very, like, the sides have been drawn, you know what I mean? Like, you can see clearly, like, the two opponents for the first time ever, because it's usually very obfuscated and just, you know, hidden, and there's deception, and, you know, but now you kind of see where everyone's pieces lie, even though there's a lot of deception going on and lies and stuff. That's just how it goes. But you can kind of see things a little bit more clearly, and then all the... What it comes down to is I feel like they're trying to usher a kind of like new sort of version of society that the people in power think, you know, would keep them in power longer, basically. Way less people, way more robots, basically. But to usher the new in, you have to like get rid of the old first. So I feel like a lot of the stuff that's happened over the past year or two has been kind of like shining the light on the dark side of like America over the past 50 years, because that's kind of, you know, I mean it's been like 70 years, I guess, since World War II. So like it's very, you know, the past, all the deep dark secrets and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff's been coming out, but it's also like the form of truth they want you to believe, you know what I mean? Like it's like exactly what they want you to believe, so that's why you shouldn't believe it, you know? It's like when the government starts talking about UFOs and stuff like that, that's when you should believe in them the least, because it's like, okay, so you guys spent how many decades like downplaying it and just sort of like painting people as crazy for seeing things that they saw and then talking about it, you know? I'm not saying I'm a believer in a lot of stuff, but there's definitely a lot of unexplainable stuff that happens, and I think the flying saucer, Foo Fighter sort of phenomena is it's quite interesting. It's quite the rabbit hole that leads you to like all these different places, because I've gone down it myself, and it ends up in like some very strange places, and it makes sense though. That's the thing that's scary about it, is you read about this stuff and you're like, well shit, that's like the most coherent explanation of our world that I've ever heard in my life, dude. Because everything's so backwards, everything's so fucked up, you know what I mean? Like, it's been like that. I was born in like the early 90s, so like, you know, I grew up in the, you know, around that time in the early 2000s, you know, and I remember it happening. I was in school, and I back then felt the world change, like, underneath my feet, because I'd only been on it for a handful of years at that point. I kind of had my bearings straight a little bit, and then that happens, and then it just sort of knocks you off, and you're like, what the fuck? I can't imagine how it was for, like, adults and stuff like that, when you can fully understand what's happening. But then you go down that rabbit hole, it's like everything was a lie, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying people didn't die and terrible things happened that day. For sure it did. I mean, I visited where the World Trade Centers used to be. I've been to Freedom Plaza 1. I used to live in New York, so like I think that's what it's called, or Freedom Plaza, and it's like a gigantic, like, weird art sculpture, like, mall now or something like that. I remember going in there a couple times. It's really cool, but I don't know. And I knew a lot of New Yorkers, and they all said that, all that stuff happened for sure, And I believe the people more than I believe the government. But there's also a lot of weird stuff that went into that if you do a lot of research, The people in power are very good at hiding things, like, right in front of your face, but it's also hidden at the same time. Like, they're, like, the masters of it. And there's a lot of weird stuff that happened today. And I grew up in the D.C. metro area, so the Pentagon, my godmother, she worked there. She was supposed to be there that day. She was pulling into the parking lot. Or no, she wasn't pulling into the parking lot. She was going across the bridge from across, like, the offices or whatever. And it was like Crystal City, and she also was whatever, and she worked in the Pentagon, right? Yeah. And something told her to turn around, basically, and she turned around, and literally as she was going back over the thing, the whatever hit. I don't even want to say it, because that's a rabbit hole. It's like everything has more layers to it than what you always think. And then even now, what I think now, there's a layer to it that I don't even get yet. You know what I mean? Like, you always discover more over time as the truth comes trickling out about stuff. And people from your generation that's most likely watching this video, y'all are still probably waiting for answers about JFK, about his brother, about all the stuff that went down in the 60s and the 70s, because Martin Luther King, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was a lot of shit going on. Like, you think nowadays is crazy. I know back then was fucking crazy too, man. And it's like we're in this, like, constant state of, like, just fear and, like, I don't know. It's really strange. There's always something going on to be afraid of. But then in reality, it turns out it's not to be that much. You can't be that much afraid of it because it's not that scary, actually, in reality, But in the moment when you first hear about it and you don't really have, like, a good grasp of, like, what's going on, you're like, oh my God, there's something going on. I need to, you know what I mean? And it's just, and imagine a million people like that, Like, I imagine the energy that releases, like, when a terrible event happens and everyone learns about it at once or, like, over, like, an hour or two. I bet the energy collected from that event is just insane, You could probably, there's probably, like, readings you could have of it. And it happens, like, every day or every week, And it's just the normal for our world now. There's just some kind of event that happens, It's almost like it's scripted or something. I've always thought that, you know what I mean? And I've always felt like I had, like, a little page of the script that no one else had, you know what I mean? I've always kind of laughed at things because it's like everyone's got all these great ideas, everyone's got all these great answers about what's going on, but I don't think we've got there yet. I think we've got little bits and pieces of the puzzle, but we're just not interpreting it correctly, And hopefully we get there one day. And it sounds like Mr. Hagar was very tapped into something, you know what I mean? Because if he's talking about the year 2025, and I'm guessing this is like 1975 or 76 or something, I don't know exactly. But to predict that in a way is just crazy, because 2025 was the year that the dam broke, basically, in a way. And I wonder if, like, even before the year 2025, I wonder if people sort of, like, was like, man, he was onto something there. I wonder how that felt hearing that back in the day. Because, I mean, damn, like, that's pinpoint accuracy, and it's crazy that he got to that back then. I wonder how he did that. That's kind of like, that's like behind the scenes sort of stuff I'd like to know, but what do you know? So thank you, Rob. That was a great pick, my friend. I'd say my favorite part of that was, like, the strange sort of, like, synth breakdown that sounded very eerily like the late 80s and, like, the early 90s in a way. And that was in, like, the mid 70s, I'm guessing. That's another point in the prediction department. It sounded like the internet, bro. It sounded like it was, like, dial-up at first, and then it sounded like it was, like, Wi-Fi, kind of like cloudy, sort of ethereal music. It almost sounded like the evolution of the internet within, like, 30-40 seconds right there. And if that's what that was, which it probably wasn't, it's ingenious, honestly. The guitar solo was pretty good. I liked his vocals. The bass throughout was probably my favorite instrument. It was the most consistent, had a great sound to it, and it's a good rocker, but it also made you think. But also, if I hadn't known what I did going into it, that someone said, listen to the lyrics, I don't know if I would have listened to them as closely, but that's just how it goes. So thanks for watching. If you have any other picks by Sammy Hagar, leave it down below. I'd love to hear it, because it's a good style. Like I said, it's very unique. It's a good combo. I'd like to hear more. And what do you guys think about those lyrics? Because that was highly irregular, if I can put it that way. That's sort of what it was. It's like, oh, how the fuck did he know that? Get stuff you'll never find out. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. I will see you later.